I need to start this week's episode with a massive thank you to everyone who is watching. Whether you follow me, subscribe to me here, whether you follow me elsewhere. This week I hit 100,000 followers on social media, which is wild to me. When I started stand-up comedy 8 years and 1 month ago, I had maybe about 300 followers. I had no real social media footprint like that. I never intended to be in the public sphere, if that kind of makes sense. I had a wrestling YouTube channel where I could talk about that. There was maybe about 1,000 something subscribers on there, so if you could add that to it, less than 2,000 overall, and now to it 100,000. Absolutely incredible. So thankful. It's got me thinking more towards the future. What do I want to do? And it's been an interesting week in terms of that, to be completely honest with you. So let's wind it back, shall we? On Saturday, I had 2 gigs. The first gig was for the Mayor of Bolton. There was a charity event to raise money for the Mayor's charity. Now, at the time that I was booked for it, they didn't know who the Mayor was going to be, but they knew they were going to put this event on so the Mayor can raise money for whatever their charities are, and it's going to be a good thing for the community. So that I was booked for it, and then I turned up there, and I knew it would be a more corporate environment, but I went there. It was like a family fun day, to be completely honest with you. That is probably the best way to describe it. There's lots of stalls all over the place. There's lots of children. There's like henna painting and all this kind of thing going on. And I thought, okay, I can't really do stand-up here because, one, a lot of my stand-up is adult-themed. And even if it's not like specifically adult-themed, only adults would really understand it because you're talking about things on a less basic level than knock who's there, chicken cross the road and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, okay, what I'll do is I'm just going to do crowd work for the crowd here today. So they were like, you can start whenever you want. You can go on whenever you want because it's just you. And I thought, oh, people are walking around. There is a stage there, but I thought no one's going to sit and listen to me and look at me and any of that kind of stuff. So I thought, oh. And I'm putting it off now. I'm thinking, give me a couple minutes because in my head I'm trying to figure out like how am I going to make this work? And in my head I'm thinking, right, I'll do crowd work, I'll speak to them, right. And then the sound tech was like, I was behind the curtain and he was like, right, ready when you are, I'll just drop the music. And I was like, can you introduce me on? And his face was like, no. And that moment really struck me, like the fear people have of talking in front of people. All he had to do was lower the music, say, hi there everybody, we've got a comedian coming down now, can we give him a warm welcome? Something like that, very basic. You don't need to do anything special, you're not looking for a big positive response to you. But people don't like that. It's quite a terrifying thing, and I understand that. So then when I saw it in his face, I thought, you know what, I won't push it, I'll do it myself. So there was 2 mics, luckily. I said, don't worry, I'll do it from here. So when I got one of the mics, we took it behind the curtain. I went, right, lower the music. And I went, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to have a stand-up comedian come to the stage. Can you please start clapping, start cheering, and give him a wall? I can't remember what I said, but I said something along those lines. And I went on stage. And I tried to start doing crowd work with people. I thought, I'll start with the kids, and I'll make it accessible for them, and through them, the parents will pay attention, right? Because if someone's talking to your kid, you start to pay attention. And plus, if you're talking to an adult, they're distracted because what's the kid doing? So I thought, cut out the distractions, talk to hey, are you okay? What's your name? Little boy goes and runs and hide behind his mum, and I can't blame him. I probably would have done the same thing when I was like 7 years old or however old this kid was. And I'm thinking, right, okay, cheer. And then his sister starts piping up, he's Jeffrey, or whatever his name was, I can't remember now. I go, oh my goodness, it's Jeffrey, yeah. What's your name? And then she told me her name, and she was like, look at me. And she had a henna on her hands. I said, oh, no, that's fantastic. You just got it done it. I'm starting to do little bits of crowd work like that. I'm trying. A minute and a half goes by, and nobody's like, everyone's like turning away. And I'm like, okay, I got to do something else now. I'm booked for 10 minutes. So I thought, do you know what? I asked the guy, I went, will this stretch? He goes, yeah. I start to walk around all the stalls and with a microphone in my hand, talk to them. I'm crowd working in the crowd now, going, oh, what you selling here? Oh, we're selling homemade remedies or whatever they were selling. I can't remember what everyone was selling now. You know, we're doing this thing, we're doing that thing. Bolton Hospice was there. I'm going around, I'm asking them, oh, how are you doing? You having a good day? I'm crowd working, I'm slowly going around, I'm talking to people. Kids are like showing me the stuff that they've picked up. I'm going, oh, that's very nice, that, yeah. I remember one girl had t-shirt with like a turkey flag on it. So I said, oh, you're Turkish? She said, my mum's Turkish. I said, oh, very nice, you know. I'm trying to get the most out of these interactions so that the people are watching and having a good time. And I'm making the people laugh on an individual basis, but I can't see the rest of the room because I'm just engaging on a one-to-one basis. And then I finished, got payment sent through to me, and then, oh no, beforehand it was, he introduced me to a gentleman named Gareth who works at the Octagon Theatre in Bolton. And it was just like, maybe it's good if you two have a chat. And I was a bit on the spot, and I'm rubbish at these kind of things. I am rubbish at these kind of things in general, even if I know that I'm going to see someone like this. So I was just on the spot, and I was like, I don't know. And basically, we ended up having a conversation. He said, listen, why don't you come down? Because I said I'd love to actually do my show at the Octagon one day, but I just don't really want to do it yet. Like, I just feel like it's not, I want it to be the best that it can be. And he said, don't worry, why don't you get in contact with the programming team, come down for like a coffee or something, and have a chat with them, touch bases, let them get to know you so they know who you are, so that if there is stuff going forward we can do with you, great, and because we want to out promote Boltonian artists. And I thought, you know what, sounds good. So Tuesday, a few days afterwards, I went online and I found the programming team, and I found the head of the programming team, and I went to find her online. I couldn't find any emails for any of them, so I went to find her online, and then I found someone on Instagram with the same name, but I wasn't sure if it was her. So I thought, okay, let's try the other person. So I looked for the other person. Now we're cooking. So the other person had mutual people that we were both following, or we were followed by the same person. I can't remember how it worked out. Either way, this is a guy called Daniel Macrina. And Daniel Macrina, I know, is in the arts kind of world. He's done stand-up comedy. I don't know if he still does stand-up comedy because I've not seen him for a while. But I know he's in the arts kind of world. So this kind of put it in my mind of like, oh, this must be the right person. So, and it was a double barrel name as well. So it wasn't like a John Smith. It was like John Smith, Smithson, whatever. So I go to message this girl on Instagram, and she's got a security setting so no one can even message her. So okay, it says if you follow it might help. Okay, so I follow her. Nothing happens. So then I just message him, go, listen, could you do me a favour? I'm just asking for a work email for her. Can you ask her to send it over? Or you know, And then he sent it over, she got back to him, I'll follow him back, and I'll send him a message. So brilliant, that was done. Got the email address, sent the email. So I'm going to touch base there. And now looking to build towards the future. Because if I do have 100,000 followers, the whole reason why I want followers is so that I can do my live show to people who would want to see it. So I can go out there and now put tickets on sale, and those 100,000, hopefully, there's 100 in this town, and 200 in that one, and 100 in this one, and 50 over there, and 75 over there. So I can go to all these towns, and it's just me, and I can go and do my stand-up comedy show for them. So that's kind of what I'm back in the routine of thinking about now. And I did a little mini dummy tour about a year or so ago, and I learned a lot of lessons from that one. But now it's got me thinking again. Now do I announce a proper tour? Now do I go at it properly? Do I really put a proper plan together? Because straight away, once I'm talking to these, I'm thinking, right, if they can then get me in touch with the Bolton News, then I can advertise there. I already know people at Bolton FM. I can hopefully go on there as well. I can advertise there. Start to get, and with my social media following, put stuff out there. All the people that I know in Bolton already. Hopefully between all that, I could sell out. They've got a studio space there, which is like 100 seats. I think hopefully with all that, I could sell out the 100 seats. And then I think, well, actually, they've got room for 320. Ooh, would I try that? Now, I don't know if I would try that at the moment, but it's on the table. And I guess if it's in a year's time, it gives me my chance to really, really build my following within Bolton. So I don't know. Either way, these are the things that I'm thinking about now because of where I'm at hitting the 100,000 followers, and I think it's about 102,000 now, but don't quote me. And on top of that, coincidentally meeting Gareth this weekend, who works for the Octagon in Bolton, it being somewhere where I've earmarked for years now that I'd like to do my solo show. And maybe it is time that I just bite the bullet and I do it. And I was going over my material today for my solo show, and I've taken out about 10 or 12 minutes worth of material from it that I think, you know what? I don't want this in this show. I want this show to be a certain, not theme specifically, but like, I want it to be this show, and I just don't want things that don't really fit in it, if that makes sense. Things can kind of be off topic, and some of the things are off topic, but it all has a link together and all has an overall theme. And I don't know if that's just too artsy-fartsy, I don't know, and not real stand-up. But that's just what I'd like to do, and that's kind of the angle that I'm aiming at the moment. So it was good to look at that bit of my show the last time I wrote it out and was like, right, I've got 2 new jokes that can go in there now that I'm happy with, that those are in there, and those fit in with the theme, so that's good. It's just now I can look at it with all the stuff removed and go, right, what isn't in this show that I would like to be in this show to tell the story I want to tell? Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. It barely makes sense to me, but hopefully it makes sense to you. Anyway, that was Saturday daytime. I was doubling on Saturday. I was doing 2 shows. The Saturday evening gig was in Kendal. I was opening the show. Now, let's tell the truth, Adam. Let's tell the truth. Every now and then, I will go to a pro gig and I'm in the middle. And I will go on after someone who's been doing comedy for years and years. And for whatever reason, I get a better reaction on the night. And it does make you feel good. Even though you know you've got the easiest spot of the night. And even though you can assume that they might be doing new material, whereas you're doing your best stuff you've ever come up with. It makes you feel good. And then it makes you feel like, I hope I get the chance to open soon. I hope I get the chance to move forward. Because the opener gets more money, right? And then the closer gets more money as well. And I'm thinking this. Anyway, Kendal comes around and I'm booked to open. And I look and Dawn Bailey's in the middle. Now, Dawn Bailey's a good act. But like, I think I'm a good act too. So I go on. And I'm going to give some caveats for myself. So it was the first gig we've done there. All the curtains were open, which sound like a nothing thing, but it really does help to set the mood if you close them, and it stops people looking outside and stuff like that. People are all focused in one direction. All these kind of little things, no music on before the show and that kind of thing and whatever. So opening as well is the more difficult, and they were a little bit on the quiet side. It was a community feel of a gig. And when you have a community feel of a gig, what I find works best is if you start to lay into the crowd a little bit. Not too heavily, but enough that everyone else can kind of join in and be like, oh yeah, Johnny isn't like that, innit? Like, and everyone else can laugh at the mate, right? I only really figured that out about halfway into my set, and I was like, right, I need to pivot here, because my jokes that are usually here are here, and I want them here. So like, you know, we're a ways away from here to here, and this is where they usually are, like up here in this like decent percentile. So I switched it up, and then I started to get better reactions the more and more that I was referring to the audience and stuff like that. And I felt overall I did okay, to be honest with you. It was, like I said, it was a tough audience at the start. Circumstances weren't the best. And then Dawn went on, and Dawn obliterated the place. She, for like the majority of her set, got really good reactions. Now, she will probably be able to tell you, if she was here, and being honest, that maybe it wasn't to the levels that she likes a lot of the time, because some of the jokes weren't getting massive laughs. And where I'm looking at it go, that should be getting a bigger laugh, but I can just tell because this audience, they've just not gone with that bit of material for whatever reason. Either way, Dawn smashed it. So it was a nice, humbling experience to be like, yeah, Adam, it's great. And I feel like I deserve to be opening, but you're not bulletproof. You can go to these shows, you can open, and someone can go in the middle and absolutely obliterate it. So, clap, 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 clap. Flowers where it's due. All respect where it's due. Dawn Bailey smashed that, man. She smashed it. Glenn Mull went on to close. Glenn did well. Lovely bloke is Glenn. Lovely bloke. I've only actually met him 2 or 3 times, but I remember the first time I remember meeting him, and I remember thinking, he was a lovely bloke. He was really, really nice then. And you sometimes the pros aren't. And I'll be honest, actually, it's more the younger pros that aren't. The younger pros who are like your age aren't often as nice, but some of the older ones are. So maybe that's what it is. But either way, we did Kendal. We all got a free Kendal mint cake by Cass, who was helping to run the show. So That was lovely. Got a free Kendall mint cake, and I love mint, so I've been nibbling on that here and there. And then, oh, guys, the other thing that's been happening as well. The World Cup started. The World Cup started on Thursday, and I've been watching as many games as I possibly can. I've been watching as much of the World Cup as I can, and I'm loving it. I absolutely love the World Cup. I'm a massive football fan, and my favourite thing about football is international World Cup football. I think it's such a, like, it's a corny quote, but it is a festival of football. You've seen people from all over the world gathering against each other, and you can have this national pride without it bordering into racism or anything like that. And you can have this national pride. You can get behind your team, and you can really see, like, the beauty of togetherness, but then also appreciating the differences with the other countries. So, like, what's been some of my highlights so far? Mexico in the opening game, Mexico when they were winning, the fans were singing that song. Like, I can't even remember how it goes properly, and I can't sing it properly because I don't know Spanish that well, even though I studied it in school. They had that song, and I was like, this is class. Spain versus Cape Verde. Oh, what a game. 0-0. Cape Verde expected to be demolished. They kept it to 0-0. And then they even had a chance right at the end, a header from a corner, and it was saved. This is the beauty of football. You're seeing these millionaires against these fishermen, basically. A lot of them aren't even professional footballers. And they've kept Spain, who won the Euros 2 years ago, which is seen as the best continental country competition in the world. And they've just kept them to 0-0 in the World Cup. What an incredible, incredible thing to watch. Loved it so much. Curacao versus Germany, when they equalised against Germany, and you go, whoa, what is going on here? Now, obviously, Germany went on to demolish Curacao, but still beautiful to watch. Scotland are back in the World Cup. They beat Haiti. Norway versus Iraq last night. Ended up being 1-1 at one point, and you're like, come on, this is class. At time of recording, it is Wednesday. England play in a few hours' time. I cannot wait to see England play. I cannot wait to see how they line up. I cannot wait to see how they approach it tactically. I can't wait to see how they go about breaking Croatia down. I am so excited for this. So excited. I've done multiple videos today about supporting England. I even did a joke that upset people, and I thought, wow, they upset because I made a joke to say that, here we go, let's talk about this issue. I find this an extremely fascinating part of the conversation. So, there are some people in this country who will try to fearmonger and tell you that Muslims are taking over. And this is like, they'll say this kind of narrative, right? Muslims have taken over the UK, They'll say all this kind of thing. And people will support them. However, when a Muslim makes a joke about the same thing, not even being serious, someone commented, unfollowed, with a laughy face. And I thought, I can see you're a little bit hurt by this joke. I ain't going to make it worse, and I ain't going to argue with you. This person's actually from my hometown, and I've known of this person I've known of the group that they were in for years. And I've known this person for a couple of years because he follows me on social media, right? And he's got the blue tick, and then I click on it, and I see he's part of this group, and I think, it's not my kind of music, to be honest with you, but I've always supported them. Very publicly, I've supported them as well. But he got upset. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to sink to your level, and you're not going to bait an argument out of me. So I said, you know what? If this joke upsets you, you're making the right decision. Unfollow me. But these are the people who say it's woke culture, it's snowflake culture, but you make one joke that they don't like, and all of a sudden they're saying unfollowed and da-da-da. And I'm thinking, like, a lot of people, they're not what they profess to be. They're not what they profess to be. And especially right now, we've got this culture war going on in the UK, which we've imported from America, and it's awful. But you've got people who claim to love the UK, and if you ask them what is the one thing you would do to make things better, they would just get rid of non-white people. They would get rid of as many non-white people as they can. That's not making a place better. That's racism. Simple. That is a simple fact. If the reason you don't like people is because they've got a different skin colour, that's just racism. Simple as that. Now, people won't like that. People might get upset about it, but that's the facts. Now, me personally, If I had the choice between getting rid of brown people, black people, whatever, or just making the country better, I would choose to make the country better. Most people wouldn't. Most people go, do you know what? Let's just get rid of the brown people and then we'll figure it out afterwards. And like, that's just racism. You don't care how good the UK is. You just want there to be more white people or less people of a different skin colour. And it's sad. It's really sad, to be honest with you. These people, they profess to not be racist. And I go online and it gets to the point where you need to ask people, do you think racism is bad? To start a conversation, because you need to ask that at the start of a conversation to see, is it worth having a conversation with this person? Because a lot of people won't even give you an answer to that question because they don't think racism is bad. And it's like, guys, I can't change your mind then. If you're that far gone, if you're such an extremist that you don't think racism is bad, you're too far gone. And people don't even think that they're extremists as well. They think that they're the regular people, and we say it how it is. You don't say it how it is. You say things like what racists say. There's been like an inquiry into grooming gangs come out that apparently is only 18% accurate, and now that is being pushed far and wide, and people are just going to believe that now, regardless of the fact that apparently it's only 18% true, and it's not been peer reviewed, and the studies that they've used to base all the details inside on aren't accurate, or they're from like biased think tanks. It does make you like feel very woeful about the country, because if you genuinely want to make things better, why wouldn't you want the actual? Like, I want the actual truth when we talk about these kind of things, and I think everyone who does these awful things to children should be absolutely punished. But then you get these other people who are just like, yeah, let's just focus on the brown ones, even though it's only a small percentage. Let's just focus on them. Let's just talk about them. Yeah, man, I feel stuck, man. I feel like this country's, I don't know. Maybe it needs to get worse before it gets better, and maybe it does need to go racist. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but it's not. We're not going in a good direction at the moment. I'll tell you that much. Tell you that much for free. Who's that messaging in? I'll tell you this as well, actually. I've been invited to a stag do today for someone who got married 5 years ago. I've already been to your wedding, mate. Like, he's having a stag do for that wedding because it was COVID back then. He couldn't have a stag do. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'll come and hang out with you for a day, but like, do you have to call it a stag do? Like, I've met adult men that like lonely, that they can't just say to their friends, oh yeah, I just want to hang out with you. Can we all just go out and hang out together? Like, why don't we do that? I've just got another message now. My messages are flying off at the moment. I'm going for a curry this week. There you go. I'm going for a curry this week. That'll be nice. Probably go to Ian's in Bolton. I love Ian's in Bolton. It's a quality place. So there you go. That's my plan sorted for a few days' time. Again, very excited for England playing. This upcoming week of gigs, Thursday, which is the day you're going to see this. I'm in Ormskirk, the place where I went to university. I love gigging there, love going back there. Cannot wait to be back in Ormskirk and hopefully have a good gig. It's for Adam Rushton, who was the agent who almost signed me earlier this year. So I know that he thinks highly enough of me that he wanted to sign me. So I just hope that I can do a good enough job that he still thinks highly of me. And yeah, because I still want an agent, and I'm that's another thing that I'm looking towards, and being like, right, where can I go if I get an agent? Like, what positions can I put myself in? I say these same things all the time. But anyway, that's coming up on Thursday, except for that. And then Sunday, Father's Day, I am in Sheffield, and I'm closing the show in Sheffield. So this is good. This is what I love. I love closing shows, and being in the middle is great, and that opening the gig in Kendal, good experience, because it teaches you. Also, what I closed the curtains after I was on stage. I closed half the curtains and someone else closed the other half of the curtains. It's also solidified in my mind, Adam, just be proactive. Go and do that. Go and do it. Anything that you can do to improve this, go and do it yourself. Give yourself as good of an opportunity to play this room as possible. So that's in there now. Come on. That's in there. So hopefully I'm not making these same mistakes over and over again. This weekend, I'm also due to jump on a podcast. A podcast that's not been released yet publicly. They've got a few episodes in the book. I don't know if they're planning to launch it with the one that I'm supposed to be going on, but that's due to happen this weekend. We're going to be talking about music, specifically Kanye West. They asked me to speak. Can you talk about Kanye West? I think it'd be funny if you talk about Kanye West. So, yeah, I'm probably going to go on there and talk about that, which should be good and interesting. And then, Netflix have just dropped a documentary called Motherly Instinct. And this is one of the craziest stories I've seen in a long time. So you start off the documentary and the police pull this woman over. And by the way, I'm going to do spoilers here. So if you don't want it spoiled, skip ahead. Police pull this woman over and she's speeding to the hospital. And there's a newborn baby with the umbilical cord still attached in her lap, and she's screaming, "My baby's not breathing, I need to get to the hospital." And the police like, no, we got them coming to you, like they're gonna come to you, don't worry about that. And then it dives back in time, and then it's about this girl, she meets this guy, and then they go together, and then she tells him that she's pregnant. And then it cuts to her friends, and her friends are like, "Nah, she can't be pregnant. She had 2 kids in the past. She couldn't look after them. They got taken away. And then she had her tubes tied, so she can't be pregnant." And it's like, what? And then it gets to 9 months pregnant, and in the build-up to it, a lot of the people in their lives, in the fella's life, started to find out that apparently, she can't be pregnant. And so they're all waiting for her to be like, "Oh, I've had a miscarriage," or this or that. And then it gets to like 9 months, and she's still not had the baby. And then it gets to 10 months, she's still not had the baby. And then out of nowhere, she has this baby. Turns out she's only gone and emmed a pregnant woman and taken the baby out of her womb. Like, how absolutely beyond psychotic do you have to be to do that to another human being? That is, I was stunned when that happened in the doc, and I was like, this is a documentary. If that happened in a film, I'd be stunned. It was a documentary, and you just like, you feel so sorry for the family. You feel so sorry for that mother. You feel so, I mean, can you imagine that's, whatever your gender is out there, if you're female, that you've had that baby inside you for years, and then someone comes who's supposed to be helping you and they em you. If you're the husband and you can't wait to have this baby be born, and then you find out that your partner's been emmed and the baby's been cut out of it, you're like, "Oh, what is going on?" Like, it's beyond insane to me what's happened. Beyond insane to me what's happened. But yeah, that's Motherly Instinct on Netflix. I've not been watching any TV. I really want to watch South Park again. I watched this YouTube video called the South Park Iceberg. And I've never seen one of these before, but it shows an iceberg and it shows the stuff at the top, the stuff we all know. Then as you get lower and lower and deeper down the iceberg, it starts to talk about more and more like niche things about South Park, to the point where they were showing like international toy deals and fakes and all this kind of stuff, and how it was translated into another language, and then once it was translated into another language, they ended up doing a spin-off completely in that language and going on. And I was like, I want to watch South Park now. I want to get into it. South Park's one of my favourite shows of all time. When I was in uni, I used to spend so much money on buying the box sets, and like box sets went out of fashion, but they're coming back in fashion because we're losing so much media off all these streaming platforms. We felt like we were going to have everything on these streaming platforms forever. Now we know that they put it on for a while and they take it off. So if you want to watch South Park like I want to watch it, I need to grab the DVDs. Now I have almost all the early seasons besides one. And then one of the other ones, I don't know if I lent it to someone or whatever happened, but I lost one of the other seasons of it. But I've got like a lot of the early first 10 seasons, and I cannot wait to just go back and watch that. That's all I used to do when I was in uni. Summer holidays, just boom, blast South Park back to back, blast Scrubs back to back, Shameless, 24. Although 24, I only watched it once because I felt like once you've watched it, like it's gone. But with a comedy, they have these rewatchable values, don't they? With the comedies, man. When the first time I saw 24, I thought, what a show! 24 episodes. Each episode plays out over the course of an hour, so you're seeing the guy's full day over the course of a season, and he's got to stop some like threat on the president or whatever season one was about, and you're like, this is class. I loved Jack Bauer, man. Kiefer Sutherland, I thought it was brilliant. Thought it was class, man, and I enjoyed that very, very much. Another thing I've been doing this week, I collect cards, as some of you may know. I collect at the moment WWE champions, like the main champion in WWE, and the Arsenal Invincibles. I've gone back to my childhood. Me two things I love more than anything: football, wrestling. Big WWE fan, and obviously was an Arsenal fan growing up. So Arsenal Invincibles were my team. That list of 22, 23 players who played in the Premier League that season, I'm hunting down all their autograph cards. I've got Jens Lehmann so far. Gael Clichy just arrived today. I've got Keown, I've got Parler, I've got Ashley Cole, all due to come. And I think one more player that I can't think of off the top of my head, is it Lauren? I can't think. Keown, Sol Campbell, Keown Campbell, Ashley Cole, Ray Parler left to come. So yeah, building my way through. Some of them are really expensive though. Thierry Henry, looking at 150 minimum, and I'm like, oh, that is a lot of money there, love. That's a lot of money. So might take me a while, but that's the other beautiful thing about doing these slowly and having set prices that you're willing to go to. And what I do is I look at what the cheapest one has sold on eBay, and it only shows you the last 3 months of listing. So whatever the last 3 months the cheapest is for that person's autograph card, which is an official one, I'll use that as my benchmark of go, right, this is what it's gone for before. I need to aim for this cheapest price. And I'm just going to slowly get through them one by one. Managed to pick up 6 so far. Send low ball offers every now and then, and hopefully they get accepted, and I can just build up that collection, get them in a beautiful binder, maybe show it off to you one day. Maybe I'll do that actually. Maybe I'll show me wrestling cards one day and we can do that. We can go over it on this. Don't know how interested you'd be in that, but I'd be interested to just talk about them because I'm that kind of nerd, aren't I? I like to nerd out when I talk about me wrestling and me football. Not watched a lot of wrestling recently. Not watched a lot besides the El Grande Americano Noche de Grandes, which was absolutely brilliant. Guys, it's the World Cup at the moment. So what I'm going to do is the games, Portugal start very, very soon at time of recording. So I'm going to end it there. Nice quick one for you. You've all got a lot of football to go and watch. Anything else? If you're not a football fan, I hope this could be a bit of relief for you. Oh, before I give you that, finish this, by the way, should I say, Zidane Iqbal became the first ever Pakistani person to play in the World Cup. He's an Iraqi international. His mum's from Iraq, his dad's from Pakistan, and he was brought up in Wadi Range, Manchester. So looking at him, someone born in Greater Manchester like me, to a Pakistani dad like me, and a mother from a different country like me, I'm looking at him going, fair play, mate. Claps, flowers, roses. I wish that was me, playing for England at the World Cup, playing for Poland at the World Cup. Even Pakistan was my dream, I'll be honest. When I was a kid, I dreamed of getting Pakistan to the Football World Cup. Mainly because I always knew in my head I'll never be able to play for England, but I thought, hey, I might be able to play for Pakistan though. Never pushed myself, never went towards it, never really tried that hard. That's why I need to try really hard in stand-up comedy. Correct the mistakes of your past. Try to have a good career going forwards. So that's what I want to do. That's what I'm trying to do. But guys, let's round it back to the beginning. Thank you so much, everyone who's followed me, everyone who's ever shared my stuff, commented, liked it, whatever it is, recommended it to a friend. 100,000 people following me across social media now is absolutely amazing to me. I'm so buzzing with it all. And I want to grow it. The next milestone, probably 250 grand. How long will it take me? Will it take me another 8 years? Will it take me more than that? I'm hoping it's quicker. You know, we've grown about 2,000 since Saturday when it happened. It's only 5 days ago. Can I just keep nudging that number up every day? That's the plan. That's the aim. I had a really hot week over the last couple of weeks on social media. I've had probably, over the last month, like, I think it's 4 point something million views on Instagram. I don't know what it is on TikTok, and things are always flying off on YouTube, but to a lower extent. But either way, I'm happy, guys. I'm happy to keep pushing forward. Let's keep this journey together. Thanks for coming along with me. That's it. 35-minute one, nice and quick one. Enjoy the rest of your week. Adam and Bye bye.